What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jobbers and Goons, and today we return to comic book movies. This is where I narrate some of the greatest story arcs to ever hit comic books and give you guys my style of storytelling to flesh it out in movie format. And for today, I have decided on a story that absolutely always gets me going. Like, I'm always fucking hyped when I talk about it, man. And that is New 52 Sinestro and his war against the Pale Bishops and how he saved the universe and even Superman, who we've been gassing up lately, right? But before we get into this, smash the like button, 200 plus like if you love stories like these, and I want to see you guys in the comment section down below. Let me know which stories need to be covered next in these formats. But without further ado, I'm super excited for this one. Always get hyped telling this one. Y'all know I kill the game whenever I bring the hype. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. This is Sinestro vs. Everyone, the movie. Now, this story starts out with Sinestro in kind of self-seclusion, right? Isolation, so to speak, in forgotten space. And he is talking about this forgotten temple he is at. And he talks about how before inevitability, faith breaks and is replaced by fear. By the way, Sinestro has so many fucking bars in this story, it's ridiculous. But he's talking about how they were great worshiping monks there, and maybe if he had been there, he could have enlightened to them to the reality of the situation, right? Like, if you don't understand and appreciate fear for what it is, eventually you will break. Like, when it boils down to it, that fear will overtake you. And this isolation is occurring because at one point, if you guys don't know, Blackest Night in that storyline, Sinestro was kind of compromised. And Sinestro's a fucking real one. If he feels he went out a bitch, if he feels like he disrespected the set or let them down, he's gonna punish himself for it. And that's what he's doing here. And that's a beautiful way to start off the story, because this story is based fundamentally on how Sinestro approaches everything. And he approaches it as, yeah, he might be an asshole. Yeah, he might be a dick to a bunch of people. But ultimately, he is trying to save the universe. He's doing the best he can as a leader. And sometimes he punishes himself viciously for making mistakes. Then the GOAT, Sinestro, gets into more about his recent past endeavors. This includes him bodying Parallax. If you guys don't know, Parallax is the embodiment of fear. Think about all possible conceptual fear throughout creation. Parallax would be the god of that. Like, that's the literal representation. And at one point, infamously, Parallax took over Hal Jordan and started shooting shit up. Like, destroyed a city instantly, was fighting all the heroes, just doing horrible shit. So even big dogs like Hal Jordan, it gets rough with Parallax. Yet Sinestro kept it bodied. And he was like, man, real shit, I became so strong that my power was so bright, it blinded me, and I'm glad I'm here. And that's when we see the story really start to pick up, right? Because Lissa shows up. Now, Lissa shows up, and this is a character that kind of has a cosmic importance to save the universe at this point, because she's explaining to Sinestro that there is a universal nothingness descending upon the universe, and it is eating emotion. It is actually anti-emotion. It brings literal nothingness to everything, and it will destroy everything it touches. And Sinestro was like, damn, that's some tough shit, dog, but I'm out of the game. Like, I'm just out here chilling, punishing myself. Like, I don't even use my ring anymore. I don't bring fear to people anymore. That's not what I do. I'm in isolation. And this is when we see a crazy moment of Lissa starting to recite the past stories and glory bars of Sinestro, right? She's simply retelling all the amazing and insane things Sinestro has pulled off over the years. And this alone brings his yellow lantern back. It starts charging up. And Sinestro's like, oh shit, this is someone that's truthful. Like, Lissa really is here to save the universe. And despite punishing himself, despite being mad at himself, that doesn't take precedent over protecting everyone. Because regardless of how he feels, Sinestro is going to hold the universe down. If shit hits the fan and everything's going to end, Sinestro will be on that front line. And he will do what he can to save the world. That's just how he is. He was a Green Lantern at one point. Fear to him is more efficient. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But yeah, that's what's bigger to him. And that's when we see Sinestro return to the Yellow Lantern Corps. And this is a funny moment because he pulls up on them and they're like, yo, you pussy, you quit on us. And the leader, I believe his name was Arquillo at the time, he's talking big. He's like, hey, Sinestro, you're a quitter. You're not even like someone we respect anymore. I don't even know why you think you can pull up on us. Basically just tells him like, hey, look, I know I've been away for a minute. Maybe y'all feel some type of way, but you're still a pussy to me. Sinestro's like, yo, I know you got the sauce now. Like, you're the leader and all that, but no chance you think you can beat me up. No shot you think you can rumble with Big Sinestro. So what I'm gonna need you to do, Arquillo, is shut the fuck up. And Arquillo had to walk away. He's like, all right, you're kind of right. And that's where we see how important Sinestro is to the universe, right? And this is because Sinestro's legacy is a complicated one. We've kind of touched on it already, but the way he runs things, the way he does things, is not always seen as the right thing to do. But to him, he's getting the job done, right? And his past story and his legacy will be defined by Sinestro. No one else. Like, that's an important theme. He's going to go down as one of the legends of the universe. Regardless of the universe loves him for it or not, he will be iconic. He will be remembered. And then we see a brawl break out, right? This is a funny moment because Sinestro showed, yeah, you should have never disrespected me. But this more so because of his daughter, right? So if you guys didn't know, Sinestro does have a daughter, and she was captured by the Yellow Lanterns. And when Sinestro sees her locked up, loses his shit immediately. Starts beating the shit out of Arquillo. He was like, yo, you fucking suck. You think you can kidnap my daughter and not get your ass beat? That's not how the world works, my friend. Starts punishing Arquillo. And he even casually one-shots a ring with a thought. And this action, this casual action by him, is so scary to everyone else that just the fight ends. Like, there's nothing to beef about anymore. Like, Sinestro clearly is on some shit, and he's ready to be on some shit. So they need to relax and not step to him. That's when we see the first run-in with the Pale Bishops. These Pale Bishops are monsters. Like, they are literally walking anti-emotions. Literal hacks to existence and existing on an emotional state. It'll pretty much turn you into a vegetable in the worst way, literally, conceptually. And they start rolling through the Yellow Lanterns. But Sinestro pulls up on this bishop, right? And he's like, hey, real shit, I know you're fucking my homies up, but you're not going to do me like that. Let me show you what the hands do. I'm not going to lie, guys. Stand the fuck up for this. Because you're going to have to remain standing for the rest of this story. Because Sinestro just gets me fucking hyped, son. So he's going against him. And they're mind hacking him. And it's kind of funny. They show him, like, Hal Jordan basically being better than him and bagging his daughter. And Sinestro just goes, if I fell for shit like this, I wouldn't be fit to lead these boys. And they hit him with the truest sense of fear possible. Like the ultimate weapon. Absolute power of fear. It's in its purest conceptual sense. And he's saying to himself, like, these motherfuckers don't understand, bro. They don't know what I've been through. They don't know what I've had to endure. They don't know the demons I fight, the fear I've had to master. They don't know who the fuck Sinestro is. And they look at him breaking through this and they're like, oh my God, this one has mastered emotion at its purest. Like, we just hit him with pure emotion and it wouldn't work. We are going to have to perform a holy exorcism on him. They basically had to hit him with their final weapon. That was the plan, right? Too fucking bad. Because Sinestro gets up and is like, all right, bitches, I let you show me your power. I let you try to put me down, but you don't understand who you're stepping to. Let me show you what the work looks like, son. And he starts putting fucking hands on them. And something they don't understand is at some point in their life, at some point in their existence, they knew fear. They felt fear. Whether it was a scary story as children, whether it was the fear that their lives are built up on. Regardless, Sinestro breaks them. He actually takes down the Pale Bishops, which narratively were basically told at that time no one could really do. Like, this was unheard of. This was not supposed to be a counter, but Sinestro's a different breed, you know? He fucking swung anyway. This was a crazy moment as well, because it highlighted the just honestly never seen before power of Sinestro. The other Yellow Lanterns at that point, they're getting depowered. Their rings are actually dropping in power. They're like, oh shit, we want to continue, but it looks like we're running out of power. And he casually just recharges them while continuing on like nothing happened. His daughter and the others are like, yo, what the hell was that? And Lissa just looks at him and she keeps it a buck. Like, hey, W for Lissa down in the comments. She was like, I'm going to be real with you. You're probably going to ask me how he did that shit. You won't be able to do it anyway. So just don't even ask. Instead, watch him cook. You're not Sinestro, so don't worry about it. And that's when a badass and just kind of low-key funny, because it was so disrespectful, moment happens. Hal Jordan pulls up. And Hal Jordan swings on Sinestro. Now, you would think this would put Sinestro down, getting hit off guard by a pissed off Hal. He thought it was an illusion. He was like, oh, this wasn't a prank? Okay, that's weird. In the same Yellow Lantern Corps that was terrified of what Sinestro could do, they pull up on Hal. And they start putting hands on him low-key. Like, they were throwing them shits. And Sinestro steps in. Sinestro's actually being very reasonable at this point. Like, in my opinion, he was being real cool as compared to how Hal was acting. And he goes, look, Hal, first of all, you're a bitch. And even though, you know, we've had our back and forth, Hal, you don't need to be here right now. You don't need to be beefing with me. There is no sense in us having beef because we should be cooking on the same side of the stove. So Hal, just back up and be cool. He's not going for it. And somewhat reasonably so. I do think he was being a dick, but you know, you can understand why he's being that way. He and Sinestro have always beefed. So he's like, dude, I don't believe you. You're on some fuck shit. And Sinestro is talking about the time when he took over Parallax. He has even defeated and taken over Parallax in his weakest points. Like, in a weakened state, he was able to pull that off, which is insane because very few things can actually beat Parallax. And this is when we get into one of the worst ass whoopings you'll see in a minute. Hal keeps pressing, right? And keep trying to go back and forth. And Sinestro said, all right, you're gonna talk all this shit. You're gonna talk crazy. Let me teach you a lesson then. And he says, Parallax, the very thing you're afraid of, the very thing that took you over, the very thing that took you over and had you kill your friends, the people you love, blow up your own city, all that shit that traumatized you. He said, that very thing is my bitch. And he reveals he has enslaved Parallax still has it there. And he unleashes it, right? Because he can bind it to objects, to people, whatever he wants. He's a monster. And he unleashes Parallax on Hal and fucks Hal up. Like, Hal gets absolutely mauled. And when he's down for the count, Sinestro said, hey, I just want you to know that no matter how little you think of me, no matter how much shit you talk, I was successful where you failed and where you got all your people killed. You will never be the man that I am. This is when we see him continue his shit talk, right? Because what's Hal gonna do? He's fucked up. There's nothing he can really say back. He's getting cooked. This is a bad look for Hal Jordan. Sinestro goes, real shit. This is how you can know I'm not trying to mess with you. Because I could just pull up on you with me and Parallax and cook you. Not just that, we would cook the entire Corps. I have complete control of my emotion, and I have a complete control of fear. So I think it'd be wise for you to shut your mouth. Leave me alone and let me continue on my journey. And that's when we see another aspect to this war/situation is going on. The Indigo Tribe and others are currently under attack. Now, who are they being attacked by? That's a good question, because usually a lot of things don't just pull up on lanterns. Especially we rarely see the Indigo Tribe involved. And they're getting beat up by the New Gods. Highfather has dispatched one of his warlords, Becca, to come take down the Indigo Tribe. And they're getting slaughtered. Like, this New God army is no joke. And that's when one of the Indigo Tribe members goes, yo, what the hell? Are we being saved by Yellow Lanterns? and we see the Yellow Lanterns fly in and start swinging on the New Gods and their general. Like at this point, and this is going to be a major theme touched on throughout this arc, Sinestro being there changes everything for the Yellow Lanterns. They get so much stronger. They're so much more confident with a leader like Sinestro, and they're confident enough to go against the New Gods. And she's killing some of these lanterns. She's tearing them apart, and she's talking shit. She's like, dude, I am with the New Gods. My power comes from Highfather. None of this light shit scares me. And that's what Sinestro says, shut up, bitch. And she turns around and gets into it with Sinestro. However, she's just not on the same level of Sinestro, both mentally and honestly, power-wise. He starts talking to her about what's going on, basically mind hacks her, and gets her to start leaning towards his side, because she realizes, like, oh shit, I'm dealing with a real one. Because what Sinestro is trying to do is he's trying to save the universe, and he's just too smart, and she is pissed, because this outwitting leads to her people getting fucked on, basically, and Sinestro got out of there. He dipped. And she's pissed, but again, he's planted that seed that's going to help win her over. This is when we see Sinestro is beefing not just with New Gods, but Highfather himself. For Highfather is powering this general, giving her the will and power to go forth and dominate. And it doesn't matter to Sinestro. He's like, dude, fuck the New Gods. We're pulling up regardless. The back and forth continues as Sinestro comes forth to the General Becca. And he's already watched her, battle space pirates that he kind of helped attack her. And she's pissed because it's a projection of him. And she's talking shit. She's like, you're afraid of the New Gods. You're afraid of the generals. That's why you send people forth to fight your battles. That's why you're not even here. You guys are a bunch of children compared to us. And that's when Sinestro makes himself like a massive giant compared to them. And he goes, oh, you see us as children. And he lets her know as she sicks her people on him. He was like, I got the space pirates to attack you. I coaxed them into attacking you. Not because I wanted to see what you were capable of, but it was because I love to watch you work. And she was like, what the fuck? Like, Sinestro is a wild boy. And we see it kind of jump to Sinestro talking to John Stewart. Like, Sinestro was able to save John Stewart and some others from inevitable death and took them to the antimatter universe. And Stewart's getting pissed because he's like, yo, you're kind of ignoring me when I'm telling you what's going down, how many people are dying, how crazy of a situation this is. And Sinestro goes, John, you forgot to say sorry. And we see John go, what? And he said, yeah, in my time of saving you, you got so pissed off about other shit. I think you forgot to thank me for bringing you to the antimatter universe and saving your life, bitch. So shut your mouth and stop belittling me. And this jumps over to my boy Arkillo. Big dog, Arkillo. I know he got bitched by Sinestro, but who doesn't? So Arkillo at this point obviously is way back on board with Team Sinestro. He's like, yo, the GOAT's back and he's actually putting in work. I'm riding regardless. And we see the daughter of Sinestro has been taken in by Green Lantern, suspected of working with Sinestro. Arkillo's not going for that shit. He said, yo, that's the liege and the daughter of Sinestro. Touching her is an act of war to me. So you motherfuckers are getting beat up. And he starts sliding on a dozen lanterns by himself. He was actually holding his own too before the fight got broken up, which is just crazy respect for Arkillo for putting in that work. So this was a moment going back to him and Becca where she's talking to him and she's like, yo, you have mad confidence that you can win, huh? And he's like, yeah, more confidence than you think. Matter of fact, the only shame here is that you do have hands. Like, you're legit. And you are going to die and get cast into the void by your daddy when the ones that you just called children come through and beat y'all's asses. And he said it would be a shame to see that go to waste. And it kind of leaves that moment with him going, Becca of the New Gods, you have the power to instill great fear. And we see her eyes get wide. And that's when we pan over to Sinestro running down on New Genesis. He's actually pulling up on the New Gods. ain't no pussy in Sinestro, dog. Like, he's so real. And he pulls up on even Orion. And he's like, yo, I'm here because y'all think you can just run up on us like shit sweet. He's like, I need you and your people, your gods, to understand that even the gods shall know fear. And Orion tries to run up. He's like, yo, I don't know why you think you could just run up here. Sinestro says, shut up, bitch. Catches him immediately. Like, just wraps him up and he's like, y'all started this. I'm here to send a message on behalf of everybody. You're not just going to bully us. You're not going to bully the Lantern. Sinestro is in town. And we see him go forth with Parallax, and it was funny because Parallax doesn't want to go with him. He's like, hey, Parallax, you know how this shit goes if we fight. Don't make me ask again. And he says, I understand the concept of pulling at your leash, but you need to understand that you know the outcome of us playing tug of war. And we also, by the way, know this They'll Know Fear is legit because they're doing all this. They're doing this universal searching and taking of weapons to prepare for Darkseid's comeback. So they do fear something. They fear the return of Darkseid. They fear inevitable war. So there's truth to that. And Sinestro is entirely confident he can get the drop on the new gods as they are preparing to warp to Earth. And we see he's contending with big dogs like Metron's in the fold, Highfather, all this. So it's not like he's just facing random new gods. And they state that they're going to take Earth within days. As soon as they siege it, there will be some resistances, but, you know, they'll be good after a bit. And Sinestro pulls up at that point, which is crazy. He just shows up to Highfather and all the other gods. All the gods are like, oh shit, I can't believe he just walked in. And this is when we get a crazy exchange between Highfather, who, by the way, has the life equation, and Sinestro. And by the way, smash the like button if you haven't already, because we're getting close to the end of part 1. This is going to be a saga because the movie would be really long to make. I'll probably drop it in 2 or 3 episodes and then give you guys the full massive movie at the end, because I think we're already over 30 minutes or close to that. But Sinestro walks in talking his shit, right? He's like, you know, Earth goes harder than you're giving it credit for. And they're like, who the hell do you think you are? And even some of the gods are like, Highfather, that's the head of the Fear Lanterns. Like, he's crazy as a bitch. And Highfather's like, don't worry about that shit. Why are you here? And Sinestro goes, I am the champion of the people of Earth. I represent them. And I thought it was time we met on equal footing. Hey, Highfather didn't like that. He's like, equal footing? You think you can fuck with me as a mortal? I'm a god. And Sinestro was like, don't care, bitch. I'm here to offer you my counsel if you were to listen to me. And Highfather just does not do well with this. He starts swinging on Sinestro. And by the way, this is true form Highfather. Pissed off with the life equation. He's hitting him. He's like, you dare come up here talking crazy shit, trying to tell me what to do when I have the life equation. If I wanted to, I could just pick you apart. And Becca is there. And she's like, you know, Father, I think he's done. But wait, he's doing something. And we see Sinestro's getting up as he took these hits like a fucking champ. And his boy Despo is rearranging coordinates for Sinestro to help on the mission, basically, to save Earth and help Sinestro win this overall war. And as Highfather's walking down on him, Despo says, location's been reprogrammed. And that's when we see Sinestro say, you done good, Despo. Like, get out of there. You're going to help save these worlds. And Despo says, I'm not going to make it out of here. I'm trapped. I am Despo, the savior of worlds. And Sinestro just says, we all made our sacrifices for this war, Despo. Thank you. As he's getting up and about to get the fuck out of Dodge from pissed off Highfather and pursue his current mission, which in an amazing way, we're not quite seeing the full scope of Sinestro's plan because his brilliance is revealed one spot at a time. But anyways, this is the end of movie 1. This is a good stopping point for after he got Highfather to swing and then he got the fuck out of Dodge because he's the GOAT. Let me know what you think of this story so far. If you're interested in it, it's in my server. But this is also Sinestro's New 52 solo run, an absolute amazing run. This was part 1. We're going to do this in either 2 or 3 parts, but this will stand as basically a mini movie on its own. So I'm pretty happy about it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this a bunch. Check out my Discord where we do games, prizes, giveaways, D&Ds, and more. And we also have a book club. And yeah, it's been your boy Jobbers and Goons. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.